Let's talk Utah Jazz basketball on the Monty Show. A lot going on with your Utah Jazz. You know they host the Charlotte Hornets tonight. -8. The Jazz are an 8-point favorite at 236.5 tonight at the soon-to-be Delta Center. And the real question here is, what are the Jazz doing on the trade market? Because I know a lot of people have talked about trade this guy, not that guy. And there were reports out over the weekend that said that Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler were your only untouchables on this team. They're not going to trade Walker Kessler. I also believe, I was told by a source over the weekend, that he is now their starting center, even when Kelly Olynyk is healthy. And I do believe that Kelly Olynyk will be traded. But without doubt, the hottest guy on this roster in trade talks right now, the hottest guy in the NBA in trade talks right now, is Malik Beasley of the Utah Jazz. He is the hottest name in NBA trade conversations because of his versatility and because of the fact that he is a knockdown three-point shooter. And if I had to guess right now, I think the two hottest teams on Malik are the Dallas Mavericks and the Miami Heat. The issue is, and we've been talking about this three-team trade with the Atlanta Hawks, the Utah Jazz, and most notably the Phoenix Suns. The real issue now is that they have not been able to get a deal done because the asking price for Malik Beasley, it starts at a first-round pick and a young player. And I'm curious what Malik Beasley can bring back in trade because Danny Ainge is asking a king's ransom. And this is not surprising. 2 weeks off from the trade deadline, I'd be asking a king's ransom as well. But the issue is, ultimately, at the end, right on February 9th at the trade deadline, what is Malik Beasley worth? And Jake, if I had to guess, I believe that he is worth picks. I don't know that he's going to bring you a young player if it's a 1v1 trade.
Yeah, I mean, I think the minimum is a first-round pick. I agree with Danny's strategy, though, of asking for a pick and a young player. I think that's really smart because, remember, you got to have a place to start in your negotiation. I mean, if you started a first-round pick, like if Danny said to these guys as a starting point, it's a first-round pick, well, then those guys are going to want to negotiate down to a second-round pick. Right? And that's unacceptable if you're Danny Ainge. So to me, this pans out perfectly. It makes great sense. Okay, I'm 2 weeks out from the deadline. I'm going to ask for a first round pick and a young player, and then I'm going to negotiate hard with these guys and see what I can get out of them. And that's where I say, as a Jazz fan, you should really like what you're hearing right now. You should like what you're hearing about Danny Ainge's choices and the way he operates and the way he goes about things. Because to me, if you get a first rounder for Malik, that's great. I'd love to see a young player because I think development has clearly taken a big step forward for this organization. So now I'm a little more confident that you could develop, a young player that you would get back in a Malik Beasley trade. But I think the one thing that you have to avoid in this trade window, if you will, is not getting done what you wanted to get done. Meaning, you can't be so stubborn about that, like with Beasley, first rounder and a young player, that the deal you wanted to make gets turned down now because other teams are frustrated with you. And I think Danny, my only thing with Danny is sometimes I feel like he may push that just a little bit too far. Not a lot of bit too far, but just a little bit too far. And I look at the Laker thing with Bojan and the fact that deal didn't get done, and I wonder, is that more about the Lakers or is that more about Danny? Now, the Lakers haven't moved those 2 first-round picks, so maybe that one was more about the Lakers, right? But all I'm saying is that I don't want any more giveaway deals, and you're definitely not doing a giveaway deal with Beasley. So I just think that Danny just got to be careful with that, or maybe be mindful with that. Other than that, though, I love what I'm hearing out of the Danny Ainge camp. I love what the guy's doing so far.
Yeah, I think the other interesting conversation around the Jazz right now is this conversation about Jordan Clarkson and what his value on the trade market is. Because one of the things that NBA sources told us over the weekend is that the Jazz are having trouble getting a first-round pick for Jordan Clarkson because of his contract situation. And if you've listened to the show, you know that we have told you, we reported last week, that Jordan Clarkson is open to a move. He has told the Jazz that he will not talk NBA or talk contract extension with the Jazz because they cannot offer him the money that he will get this summer in free agency. Well, that's a double-edged sword for Jordan Clarkson because it's making him more difficult to be traded right now. Teams are hesitant to give a first-round pick, according to NBA sources, because Jordan Clarkson is clearly going to opt out of his deal. He has a player option after this season. he will become an unrestricted free agent this summer, and teams are a little hesitant to give up a first-round pick because they know it's going to be difficult for them to re-sign Jordan, who should have, according to NBA sources, a robust free agent market this summer. So if you give up a first-round pick, are you doing that for a rental in Jordan Clarkson? Well, apparently that's what NBA executives think, because teams are a little hesitant to give up a first-round pick for Jordan. I think the Utah Jazz are more likely to get a first-round pick for Malik Beasley, in fact, than they are Jordan Clarkson. But things change as the Utah Jazz get closer and closer to the trade deadline. Jordan Clarkson can be a huge addition to a championship contender, but are you willing to give up a first-round pick? That's a big, big question mark. And by the way, as many contenders do have first-round picks, I don't know how many of them are willing to make a deal with Danny Ainge on that first-round pick as well, because one of the things I've heard consistently over the last week is that teams are also a little, I'm not going to say scared of, but a little cautious of the deals that Danny Ainge makes and the deals that he's made over the summer. It looks like he took the Minnesota Timberwolves to the cleaners, which he did.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of teams are worried about getting Anged by Danny Ainge. and I think it's a legitimate thing. But when you have assets that are as hot on the market as a Malik Beasley is, a Jordan Clarkson is, because make no mistake, just because teams are not willing to give up a first-round pick, especially in this coming draft, that doesn't mean they won't. That does not mean that we'll get within 24 to 12 hours of the trade deadline. Somebody's going to cough up a first-round pick. The bigger issue, I think, is that Ryan Smith, the owner of the Utah Jazz, does not want to trade Jordan Clarkson. He would like Jordan Clarkson to be on his team. The issue is, I don't believe the Jazz will be able to repay Jordan over the summer or re-sign Jordan over the summer, because he's going to get paid an exceptional amount of money.
Yeah.
I think he is one NBA source over the weekend told me he could be looking at as much as $76 million over the summer. Like, why would you pay him that much money? And again, I'm not a Jordan Clarkson hater. I just think you have to put a number on a guy, and that's it. That's the cap. If I'm the Jazz, sure, I would offer him $20 million a year on a 3-year deal. But are you offering Jordan Clarkson $23 million a year? Man, that just seems...
Yeah.
$24 million.
Yeah.
You're going to give that guy $72 million?
No, you're not.
That's crazy money. And I think he'll get that or a bit more, because I do think there will be a sweepstakes to sign Jordan Clarkson. And I do think somebody will give him a third year. And I do think he's going to get somewhere between 22 and I can't believe somebody pays him $25 million a year. Mm-hmm. That's silly money.
I mean, to me, going back to the pick thing versus how much money you got to pay him. If I'm a championship team, I'm cool giving a first rounder for Jordan, because I know what he brings off the bench. I know his value. I know his quality. And I think that, he also injects this level of energy coming off the bench that I think you don't see a lot in the league. So to me, I look around the league, and I know we talk about this all the time on the show. These teams, this select group of teams that right now is in the championship conversation, is in the NBA Finals window. Your Brooklyns, your Milwaukee's, your whoever you want to point to. Those teams in that window, to me, if you're not willing to give up a first-round pick to go chase a championship, maybe you shouldn't be chasing a championship. Like, I just wouldn't even second guess it, because I'm not doing a Jordan Clarkson deal and getting butthurt about the fact that I can't re-sign the guy in the summer, or I don't have a guarantee that he'll play for me over the next couple of years. All I want to do is win championships. If I'm, again, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, some people even throw the Miamis of the world around, like whatever, like any of these teams. I'm just telling you, if you're an upper echelon team, you should have no problem giving up a pick to get Jordan Clarkson. You just shouldn't. And if he goes somewhere else, fine. But you have to do that deal if you're chasing championships. Now, everybody else, I get it. Hey, you don't want to pay this guy, or you don't want to give up draft compensation for what? Just short of half a season of playing time. I get that. I understand that. But I don't think that that's the Jordan Clarkson conversation. Teams who are average aren't going after JC. Like, championship teams would be going after JC. So to me, that's just pretty straightforward. And as far as this intimidation or this hesitancy around dealing with Danny, that's justified. I'm not trying to get fleeced by Danny Ainge.
Absolutely, it's justified.
As you said, I'm not trying to get Anged, right? Like that. Nobody wants that to happen. The reality is he's got Malik. The reality is he does have Vando. He has these guys. So that's why I'm telling you that point I was just making about Danny not pushing the envelope too far and burning some of these opportunities. Because once you close off a GM, right? Like once a GM gets turned off to you, I have to imagine it's hard to like it would be hard to get optimism from Leon Rose again if you're Danny Ainge after how that whole deal went down, right? So that's why I say you just got to be careful with that if you're Danny.
Yeah, and one of the other stories I think that really is critical to watch is the Miami Heat, because I think the Miami Heat really want Malik Beasley. But from what I was told over the weekend by Utah Jazz sources, they are not willing to take Duncan Robinson's contract in return in that deal, and nor would I. I mean, he's owed somewhere, I mean, at a minimum, you're paying Duncan Robinson, if you make that deal at the deadline, you're probably paying Duncan Robinson $50 million over the next 3 seasons, or 2.5 seasons, excuse me. I'm just not willing to do that. Duncan Robinson is a great three-point shooter who is an absolute travesty of a defender in this league, and he does not offer you a whole lot as far as value on the floor for a team that's trying to develop. And if we're talking about the Miami Heat, I am one of the guys who think that the conversation with Miami begins and ends with Nikola Jovic, and they apparently are not willing to trade Jovic at this point. If that's the case, then I'm not willing to give you Malik Beasley. I would hold a hard line on that. I just don't think that there's a trade that you can put together with the Miami Heat that doesn't include Jovic. I mean, the kid is an absolute stud. And by the way, he's a power forward, which is your biggest hole. If you can get a young power forward, and we've talked about this on the show for weeks now. If you're able to get a John Collins, for instance, that solves a lot of problems for you over the next 2 seasons. Jovic is a guy that if you're not add that guy to your roster in a trade with Miami, I don't know why you're trading with Miami, because Duncan Robinson ain't that dude.
Yeah.
And he's owed a ton of money. Jovic is on obviously he's a young guy. I think he's 19 years old. But Jovic is on a very friendly team deal. And that's a guy that you want. I mean, he's 19 and a half years old. And he's a guy that is obviously on a rookie deal. And he won't even be eligible for a rookie extension until after the 24-25 season.
That's right, T.
You're going to control him at $2.5 million a year.
That's the kind of opportunity you're looking for.
So why would you make a Malik Beasley trade with Miami that doesn't include Jovic, who's a guy that, by the way, I would remind you, he's a dude that I think does everything that you need him to do. And when you look at him and you realize that he's not a free agent until 2026, this is a guy that you can develop. This is a guy, by the way, did anybody see that, hey, David Fizdale's been around a lot more lately, right? You're seeing him on the bench. You're seeing him on the floor. They're all in on development. And I think the story over the weekend as well that talked about how Lauri Markkanen and Walker Kessler are the only untouchables on this team. And I want to say it was Shams who reported that, but I could be wrong. That's exactly what the Jazz have said to us, and we've talked about this. We've even debated, should Ochai Agbaji be untouchable?
Yeah.
To which I say no. But Walker Kessler's not a guy I'm willing to trade. Lauri Markkanen's not a guy I'm willing to trade.
Yep.
The absolute ascension and growth in Lauri Markkanen's game is spectacular. Why am I trading that guy? I'm not. So I think if you're going to send Malik Beasley or anybody else to the Miami Heat, Nikola Jovic has to be in that conversation. Yeah. In my opinion.
Yeah, and I think it's a great deal from a contract situation, from where he plays on the floor. Like, I think, this thing with the trade deadline is you want to be making deals, but it would be ideal for you if you could make deals and transactions that fit well into, your current untouchables. Obviously, Kessler and Markkanen. So I look at Jovic and I say he fits right in. He's perfect, right? Like, he's a power forward guy, that allows Walker to continue to play the 5. And by the way, I think it's a huge win if nothing else, the fact that Kessler and Markkanen have played their way into, like with Markkanen played his way into being a, quote unquote untouchable, and the fact that Kessler has played his way into being a starting five for you, I think that's a huge win for this organization, because that never would have happened, in prior years. We never had, hey, this guy has made a big leap forward developmentally speaking. That tells me that, hey, the culture in this organization and the game plan for these guys is working. And by the way, they believe in what Will Hardy has going. So again, that's why I say, when you look at someone like Jovic, guy's 19 years old, he definitely is going to need development. Hell of a player already, but again, you're only 19, plenty of development time here. That brings me great confidence if I'm Danny Ainge to go and make these deals, which I think is a huge under-the-radar thing that nobody talks about.
Yeah, and I think the other team, by the way, in this whole Utah Jazz trade conversation, the other team I'd really be paying attention to, I mean, we've talked a lot about Atlanta. We've talked a lot about Miami on this show. But again, I just will go back to the Milwaukee Bucks. And I know that you're probably tired of hearing us talking about Milwaukee and the George Hill trade. And I'm telling you, they are aggressive, and they need three-point shooting. They need wing shooting. And Jordan Clarkson and Malik Beasley are both of interest to Milwaukee. I just don't know what they're willing to give in return, because I don't know that you take Grayson Allen back. I don't know that you take Bobby Portis. There are some beliefs that Bobby Portis is available. I don't know that you want Bobby Portis on this team. He's a guy, frankly, that I think is more of a headache than he's worth. I just don't know that Milwaukee has a whole lot to offer you. And by the way, the other thing that I would point out is the Jazz are one of the teams in this league that are hard capped, which means they have to be dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
So you can't just make you can't take back more money than you're sending out. So, you look at the hard capped teams. Washington is a team that's been heavily linked to making deals. You look at the Minnesota Timberwolves, another team interested in Jordan Clarkson and Malik Beasley. That's going to be a very difficult trade to make, because, I mean, if you look at what Minnesota's salary situation is, and we were telling you last week that there is a lot of belief that D'Angelo Russell is widely available, and that the Phoenix Suns would like to add D'Angelo Russell. And again, I just say, if you know that the Minnesota Timberwolves are interested in a guy like a Malik Beasley, getting him back, or a Jordan Clarkson, D'Angelo Russell going to Phoenix makes a lot of sense. You've got to get in on that trade, right? And if you know that Milwaukee is chasing Jay Crowder for their lives, Milwaukee is aggressively pursuing Jay Crowder.
Facts.
Get in on a 3-team deal that helps you with the Bucks and the Suns. Those deals are there to be made, and the question is, can Danny Ainge put the Jazz into those trades with the Suns and the Bucks, with with the Suns and the T-Wolves? Or, I mean, there are deals to be made. And again, you have a guy, look at the name that consistently comes up in all of these trade rumors. It's Malik Beasley. And that's not by accident. The guy is an absolute lethal shooter. And he's a guy, the thing that I hear consistently is Malik Beasley's not young, but he's continuing to show development with the opportunity he's gotten in Utah. That's not been lost on other NBA general managers. I don't think there's any question that Miami would love to add him as a mid-range and three-point shooter on that team. He's a better version of everybody that they've got now. And you already have the throw everything at the wall guy. It's why I do not believe that Jordan Clarkson is a fit in Miami, because I think you have that in Tyler Hero. What you don't have is the composed, calm three-point shooter, the Ray Allen type piece. That's what Malik Beasley is. And I think that's why Miami is so interested. I think that's why Milwaukee is so interested. But they know they're missing that tenacity this year. That's why they want Jay Crowder. Well, hey, let's go ahead and facilitate that Jay Crowder trade, and let's go get a first-round pick. There are deals to be made. And if you can get your financial house in order and you can get under the luxury tax fully and under the cap fully, save yourself some money, acquire draft picks, make deals, get a superstar. That's what this trade deadline should be all about for the Utah Jazz, and I think they're headed in that direction.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is where the Utah Jazz are, and I do believe that Markkanen and Kessler are the hottest, untouchable guys on this roster.
Yeah, I mean, it
as
feels
they
like,
should be.
Those are the building blocks, right? Like, those are the guys that have separated themselves, and the Jazz are like, hey, like, these are the guys that we're going to keep, and we're going to try to build a roster around. And I think it's smart. Like, I look at bigs around the league, and I do kind of feel like if you have a big who can run and who is just able to finish around the rim and can be a threat in the pick and roll, not some elite player, but just enough of a threat that the defense has to respect him the way the defense respects Walker. That's a huge value piece, and not every team has that. Like Walker Kessler is more valuable than an Andre Drummond right now. He's more valuable than these guys that are just brutes running up and down. So that's why I say it wasn't surprising that the Jazz kind of came out and said this. But to me, this deadline is just so crucial. I want these deals to happen, and I want them to happen in the right way, and I want this team to be successful.
But I also think if you don't hit a home run at this deadline, it devalues what you did with Don and Rudy. I know that sounds really harsh, but you're in a position now where you can lose. You can make mistakes. And one of the things that I've heard consistently from NBA sources is, hey, can Danny really put the cherry on top of the Don and Rudy trades by taking those assets and turning them into a championship contending team in the next 2 years? And I think he can, and I think he will. All of our Utah Jazz talk and NBA talk on the Monty Show is presented by Quick Quack Car Wash, the best in the business. Was there again this weekend, even though it snowed this morning on the roads and yesterday on the roads, and you're driving around getting salt and dust and dirt. That's okay. Get a membership at Quick Quack Car Wash, because I can go to Quick Quack once a month or 10 times or 20 times or 30 times. I can go every day if I want, because that's what a membership allows you to do. You pay one price. I pay $21.99 a month. I get their best car wash, and I can go one time or 30 times in a month. That's the beauty of it. And the other best thing is, again, the line was out to the street. I go to the South Jordan district location. The line's out onto 114th there. Doesn't matter, because I get in and out of there in 5-7 minutes. I get friendly service. I get free vacuums and towels to wash my mirrors and dry my car off. Like, it's just great. I love dealing with Quick Quack Car Wash. And I will say there is nothing better than when you pull into a car wash and you can't see out of your rear view camera, that reverse camera. You get out of that car wash and that camera is crystal clear.
I'm for real.
I love it. That's one of the things that I really like about Quick Quack is I know I'm getting a quality wash with quality people because everybody's friendly. I don't have to put my credit card into some computer machine thing. I have a membership. I pull up, I roll the window down. Hey, Monty, how are you? Here's your dashboard wash. Need anything extra? No, we're good. Okay, thanks. Roll up the window, go through. I'm out in 5-7 minutes.
Yep.
Easy peasy. Let's get your thoughts in here on the Utah Jazz and trades. Travis Bird, Big Daddy Magic. I haven't seen Leonardo DiCaprio yet. Where is he? I want my Leonardo DiCaprio photo. You're up there at Sundance. You're balling with the hoes. You got the movie stars. Where's Leo?
Where's the Italian?
Where is he? Where is he? You promised me Leo, man. Anyway, the Milwaukee Bucks deal would be the rookie George Hill for Clarkson, sources the Joey numbers. Okay. I would not take Hill in return. The problem with Milwaukee is, and if you look at their numbers, their cap is massive. When you look at their numbers, their active roster cap's $177 million.
Yeah.
That's a huge amount of cash. And I don't think you care about paying Giannis 23% of the cap, but I understand why they want to move Bobby Portis in that $10.8 million deal.
Yeah.
I understand that. I know why they'd like to trade Grayson Allen, but do those guys really fit on the Jazz? I mean, I think you would like to have Grayson Allen.
Yeah.
But there are better versions of Grayson Allen that aren't dirty players, right? I think that's really interesting, but I don't know. There's not a whole lot at the bottom of their roster. Like George Hill is not somebody I'm excited about. Is Pat Connaughton a guy you're dying to add in a trade?
No.
I mean, I'm taking Pat Connaughton before I'm taking Duncan Robinson in his ridiculous contract, right? But I don't know that Milwaukee's going to be able to make a transformative deal because there's a lot of people around the NBA that question the structure of their roster. And I would agree with that. I'm looking at what Kyrie's doing in Brooklyn right now.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at how you want to talk about flame on. Did you see Kyrie the other night at Vivint? Did you see Kyrie last night? I mean, that cat is red hot. By the way, did Patrick Beverley earn the whole of his compensation last night? Did you guys hear about the Lakers last night? They're getting that ass whooped last night. And I mean beat down last night.
Yeah.
They go into the half, and by all accounts, Patrick Beverley lit the locker room up. Like, he gave this impassioned speech. He was telling people, we got to turn our swag back up. Who the F are we? Who are you? Like, the picture that was painted was he walked around to every guy and was like, who the F are you? What are you doing? And I think this stems from the other night where Memphis, and it's still in Brooks, so I kind of get it, but you're calling out LeBron James, talking about how he's soft and he wants to not be touched. And look, first of all, Memphis, you haven't won anything yet.
Yeah.
A. B, this is why you put Patrick Beverley on your team. Mm-hmm. Because not only were they in a real bad spot, they had given up 71 points in the first half to a depleted Portland Dame team.
Yeah.
They came out and put up 75 in the second half, the Lakers did, and they won 121 to 112. They not only didn't give up 71 points in the second half, they gave up a grand total of 41. They came out a different team. LeBron James had 37 more. Thomas Bryant had 31. Again, I'm not saying that Thomas Bryant is better than Anthony Davis by any stretch. Trade Anthony Davis.
Yes.
You have a young center that's capable of doing a job. He's not Anthony Davis. Trade Anthony Davis. If you've got balls of any shape or size, you would trade Anthony Davis at the deadline. They won't. My guess is Anthony Davis is a summer deal. But if you want to win and you want to make the playoffs, because they're only a game out of the playoffs, I'd remind you of that. You would trade Anthony Davis. Because not to belabor this point, I know people lose their minds in the chat when I say this, you are wasting LeBron James right now. LeBron James, in the month of January, is averaging 34 points a game. He's averaging 8 dimes and 10 rebounds. And by the way, he's 87 years old. Actually, he's 38. And he's averaging 33.8, 34 points a game. He's had a 43, a 37, a 35, a 48, a 32, and a 37 this month.
Yeah.
You're wasting LeBron James. You're wasting him. And this is exactly why you put Pat Bev on this team.
Yeah.
You don't love all the things that he does, but boy, did he turn that game around last night. And I would also remind you that they got a grand total of 15 points off their bench, the Lakers, last night. And they scored 121.
Yeah.
Because everybody but Patrick Beverley was in double figures. And you got 24 out of Schroeder, 31 out of Thomas Bryant, 10 out of Troy Brown, and LeBron James gave you 37.
Yeah. Yeah.
Russ was 3 of 13, 0 of 4 from 3, and 6 points. Damn.
Not good.
Is that bad? I think that's bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think the Lakers are.
That's bad.
It's tough because LeBron's at the end here, and he's doing insane things for his age, and I don't know
how close to the end is he.
I gotta think he doesn't play past like 41 or 42, dude. Like 3 seasons, maybe 3 more seasons, maybe. Really depends on Bronny's path too. I think and what that looks like because again his stated goal, right, is to play with Bronny. That he wants, as he said in his own words, I want to play with my boy. So to me, it's like, okay, once Bronny hits the draft and hits the league, that's when I think LeBron watch has to start happening. Okay, how do I get on the same team as my kid? What does that look like? So
what's more important, winning another championship or playing with your kid?
I think playing with his kid, honestly. After what I've heard him say, like, I'm not hearing a lot of, hey, all of this is unacceptable, or like he's not making a big deal out of the fact that he's a Laker and they're 1 game out of the postseason, right? Like They should be 1 game out of the number 1 seed. You're the Lakers. Like this, there's expectations, but you're not really hearing him talking a lot about that. You're hearing him say things like, well, we played a little better tonight. There's some things we got to work on. Like he's coach speaking everything lately. So I don't know. I'm starting to think that playing with Bronny is a little more important than championships.
We'll find out. Let's get your thoughts in here as we talk Utah Jazz and NBA basketball on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at Quick Quack Car Wash, Boyd Lake. Hello. I generally prefer the Manning cast on Monday Night Football and the ESPN crew. Okay. Okay, you know. Scott Howard says, big game tonight, the return of Gordon Hayward. Okay. Joshua the Baller says, Ochai should be untouchable. Is this a conversation we need to have? Because,
again,
who is untouchable?
Well, you're someone who has said in the past when we've had discussions like untouchables don't really exist,
They
right?
don't.
Like for
They
a
don't
price,
exist.
for a price, everyone's available, right? And obviously
Yes.
for Laurie and Walker, that price is going to be exponentially high. To me, though, untouchables are something that I think Danny Ainge wields. He uses that. He says, I'm not trading these guys. That's not happening. And Ochai is borderline, meaning, yes, I love the potential. I see where the guy can go. Love dude's game. The problem is, dude is not a scoring threat right now. He's got to up his three-point shooting and his effectiveness.
Wait. Slow your roll. This guy's not untouchable.
Well,
what are we talking about? He's a rookie. And I understand he's shown flashes of greatness. Not even greatness. Like, the guy can shoot a corner three. He's athletic, he can rebound, and he likes defense. That's cool and everything, but that's not hard to come by. Corner three-point shooters that play defense, who would you rather have? This version of Ochai Agbaji or the current version of a buckets bench, Royce O'Neal? Royce O'Neal is playing at a very high level. You can get this guy. Ochai Agbaji should not be untouchable. I don't.
But the difference is you'd have to trade to get that guy.
Right.
He's already on your roster.
But you're rebuilding your roster anyway. If Ochai Agbaji's a cherry on top, who's saying no?
Yeah.
If I'm going to get Jovic, Nikola Jovic from Miami, and they're like, hey, we got to have Beasley and Ochai, you're saying no?
Yeah,
no, I'm not saying no.
I guess not. I mean, we're just different on it. I don't want to trade a guy right now who I can clearly see is going to be a defensive juggernaut. He's going to be really good defensively at his position and is probably going to be able to guard three positions on the floor when it's all said and done. And someone who's going to be able to shoot 40% from three. I'm not trying to trade those guys, but you're right. He is a rookie.
He is a rookie, and I just wouldn't.
You're not wrong about that.
I just would not.
Yeah.
I just would not. Jeremy Bolton's correct. Someone paid Gordon Hayward his crazy contract. Somebody will pay Jordan $25 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. And Jake, I'm curious what your thoughts are on Jordan Clarkson. Like, kind of break him down. Is he a valuable commodity to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think Jordan Clarkson is somebody who I'm looking at and I'm saying, for the right team, I think he is extremely valuable. I think Jordan Clarkson, as I was saying earlier, to a championship caliber team is someone that I'm 1,000% willing to give a first round pick for. I like, even if he's not guaranteed to come back to your roster, hey, I'm bringing this guy off the bench. He's my sixth man, and that's going to allow me to spell Giannis and Middleton. And Jordan's going to give me 20 a night in the playoffs. Now, again, the last time he was in the NBA Finals was with Cleveland. He was a different guy then, but he didn't really do that much for them. So you don't really have a ton of experience in the postseason to go off of, in my opinion, that's relevant. But to me, like, I'm willing to give a first-round pick if I'm one of those finals contenders. But again, this Jordan Clarkson situation is tough because your owner is saying, no, I don't want to trade that guy. I don't want to give up Jordan Clarkson. And it's like, that's fine, Ryan, but the fact is the league wants him. And the fact is the league's going to get him this summer. So are we really going to be married to somebody who isn't going to be here either way? I look back, for all you baseball homers out there, I look back at Bryce Harper with the Nationals, right? They didn't want to re-sign him. They didn't want to pay him some $300 million deal or whatever the deal wound up being. And what does he have now? He's got that same deal. I want to say it's 3 or like 310 or whatever it is. Just crushing for Philly. So to me, I look at Jordan and I just say, don't be emotional about these guys. Don't be so married to these guys that you make a mistake. I think Danny looks at Jordan Clarkson, who he's looked at from afar when he was with Boston, and says, hey, when I was with Boston, I saw Jordan as a Jazz man, and I liked what I saw. Now that I'm with the Jazz, I still like what I see, but I like it in a different way. I want to trade this guy. I want to get value out of him. But I look at guys like Ochai, right? I look at guys like Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen, and those are guys that you've developed. Those are guys that you've brought into the organization. through trades, through draft. Obviously, everyone has a different path, but you brought these guys in, and you know that they are bringing value, that you're developing him. I look at Ochai, and to me, right now he's the same value on the floor as JC is on some nights. JC will have 1 of 13 or 1 of 10. That happens for Jordan. The difference is for Ochai, he's playing a lot more defense than a Jordan Clarkson is. So to me, it's like untouchables. Yeah, sure. Every team has untouchables, but my biggest issue is that I feel like Ochai is someone who I can almost with certainty know how he's going to pan out. Even though he's a rookie, I know where that guy is going to go. So I don't know, man. Jordan is a valuable guy, but to me right now for this Jazz team, he's not as valuable going forward as like an Ochai would be.
Okay, huge update.
Okay.
So I was floating, so I sprinted upstairs to the bathroom.
Right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Good job.
Mama Kitty.
What?
I can only imagine as the Mama Kitty.
So now they're on the second floor.
Yeah, upstairs with a little baby kitten.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there was pregnancy happening at the Mavs.
Yeah, and it was pretty close. It was probably within 25 yards. And once she saw me, they took off running. I love it. Mom and a little kitty upstairs on the second floor here at the Mav.
There you go.
So yeah, Mama Kitty is a real thing.
Cat sighting.
Eric in Raleigh says, amongst NBA contenders, who has the available cap to get Clarkson? Well, I mean, everybody has cap. There's a lot of teams. If you're over the cap, if you're in the luxury, you essentially have to be dollar for dollar with anybody that's going to acquire Jordan Clarkson.
Yeah.
Because a team like Charlotte is not going to pick up Jordan Clarkson. I think Charlotte's going to have a fire sale. I think they're going to trade a lot of dudes, including Gordon. I think Kelly Oubre. They're one of the teams I hear a lot about in talking to my NBA friends. But I think when you look at teams, everybody can acquire Jordan. The question is, who's a really good fit? I still maintain the Phoenix Suns are the best place for him. Mm-hmm. Him and Malik, if you want to win a championship right now, and I think both of them are in that conversation now, I think those two dudes, they're great fits in Phoenix. Because you're looking at Phoenix right now. Cam Johnson is back. I think you're looking at a roster that needs some presence. Without Book, and apparently Book is not close to returning. Without Book, you have Chris Paul, who just is not the same player.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
You look at Bridges, you look at Johnson, you look at Lee, you look at the guys that they have on that roster, they don't have the it guy right now. Mm-hmm. That it guy, I'm telling you, is that Jordan Clarkson, in my mind, is a fantastic fit in Phoenix. He would be exactly what they need.
Yep.
But I think anybody could make a trade for Jordan. It's just a matter of matching up the numbers and do you have a first-round pick? Because that's what Danny's put on him right now.
Yeah.
And I think somebody will pay it. Brent Burnett, what Ainge has also done is establish the Jazz as a threat, meaning he will take your spot in the playoff hunt or willing to lose if given a better future. I don't know that they're a threat on the basketball floor. I think night in and night out, like in a game like tonight, I would expect them to win by 10 points over Charlotte.
Yeah.
And this run that they have coming up with all of these home games, I don't know how many people are looking at their schedule, but they have a run of games here at home leading up to the break that is really good for them. They're going to go to Portland on Wednesday, and then they don't leave again until after the break when they come out on they go on that East Coast trip, on Friday, February 10th. They don't leave until after the deadline.
Yeah.
So they're going to go to Portland on the 25th. They're not on the road again until February 10th. And that's at Toronto, New York, Indiana, and Memphis. They end the first half at Memphis on Wednesday, February 15th. I mean, they have a really good schedule coming home. Charlotte at Portland, Dallas, Toronto, Atlanta, Dallas, Minnesota, all at home before they go back out. The day, Luka will be here. Luka will be here twice before they go back on the road. The day after the deadline on the 10th.
Yeah.
So they don't play on the trade deadline.
How different is this team heading east?
I think it's going to be considerably different. And I know you guys don't care, but when you talk to certain people around the league, you know the guys that have it and the guys that don't. You like when you're talking to different people. The NBA sources that we have that I talk to the most, they're all saying the Jazz are big-time sellers. And now, what the funny thing is you can feel the momentum picking up because now we're not the only ones reporting that Jordan Clarkson is going to be traded.
Yeah, I thought that was funny over the weekend.
Now we're not the only ones reporting that Markkanen and Kessler are untouchable.
Yeah.
Now we are not the only ones reporting that, for instance, the Mike Conley to the Clipper deal, or that, Dallas is interested in Malik Beasley. Like, you can feel the momentum moving for the Jazz. And I think what's really interesting is I think Malik Beasley is the hottest NBA name in trades right now.
Yeah.
I mean, his rise in the trade conversations has been nothing short of meteoric. It has been unbelievable. Tyler P. says, Hornets trying to pair LaMelo with Wemby. Well, they may get their wish. They're terrible. They are, and it kind of, I still wonder, what are they doing with Bridges? Their Bridges.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that he's chilling until the offseason. I'm going to guess that that's going to be an under-the-radar thing. Just a guess, though.
So you don't think he plays this year?
No, I don't think he plays this year. I
would
think
agree.
he stays in shape. I think he spends time with Brickley, whatever, stays out of trouble, and then maybe he gets a chance next year. It just seems like that. Like when we go to the random Laker game while we're in LA, and we walk into crypto, and I see Buddy sitting baseline away from the bench, but on the Hornets side of the floor. And he's dapping it up with his teammates during the TV
Sitting
timeout.
with Scottie Pippen.
Sitting with Scottie Pippen. Like, you know what that is. That is, hey, I'm suspended, but I'm still in good with the boys, and I need to, just bide my time, stay in shape, keep the jumper wet, and we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that Miles Bridges had, and if you guys don't remember, Miles Bridges had a heinous domestic violence incident. I mean, heinous, terrible. And he is really a guy that you, I think he's taboo. If Trevor Bauer of the Dodgers can't get picked up, are you telling me that Miles Bridges can? Come on now. I don't see that. But I guess my point is that when I look at Miles Bridges, I wouldn't have him on my team. I wouldn't. And as wrong as things have gone in Charlotte, and the news was that they were going to re-sign him. I think they got a real break that they didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
trouble. When you have a guy on your team that has off-the-court issues, it's obviously not ideal.
Yeah, I think that I would not have picked him
And by the way, I think they've done a great job of not having LeVar issues with LaMelo. I mean, you notice that LeVar hasn't been a problem, while LaMelo's been there, which I think has been great.
Yeah, I totally agree. Okay, a couple more before football at 50. Mesh, good morning to you, friend. He says, I don't know much about Jovic, but he doesn't sound so appealing. He's 6'9", 200 pounds, and he's a ball handler. He can shoot it. He can finish at the rim. I mean, he's not the most physical player. He's not a Larry Markkanen that's going to dunk on you, but he is an able defender. And he's 19 years old. I mean, he's a guy that I think has tremendous upside. Yeah. I mean, he's clearly got an NBA handle. He's clearly got an NBA shot. I don't know what more you could want.
Do your homework on him, man.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. Brent Burnett says Clarkson will get a first-round pick. The real issue is he won't be traded, and the Jazz likely re-sign for $20 million a year. I doubt that. I really doubt that. I think if it would be a shocking misstep if the Jazz let him go to unrestricted free agency this summer.
Yeah, you're not doing 4 years and $80 million, Brent. I'm not trying to hate on you, bud, but they're not doing that. That's not happening.
I don't. Why would you pay him $20 million a year for 4 years? Why would you do that? He'll be 39, I think. Isn't he? 35 at that point? You're paying a 35-year-old Jordan Clarkson $20 million?
Because your owner said he didn't want to trade him? Because your owner likes him some Jordan Clarkson?
You're not doing that.
Yeah.
There's no way. Brandon Butler says, wasn't Donnie our untouchable this summer? No one is under Danny. Believe their actions, not their words. Yeah.
Donnie wasn't. Dude, Donnie wasn't ever untouchable. I mean, Donnie was as untouchable as it gets for this organization. I would agree with you there, but let's not get this confused. I mean, there was always New York attraction for Donovan Mitchell, and then the New York thing fizzled out, and I think Donovan was the guy saying, "Hey, like, I'm not demanding a trade, certainly, but if you find a good fit, like, let's do the thing." And I think that Danny saw an opportunity, especially after what he got done in the Rudy deal, and was like, you know what? We're going to do this thing, and this is the route we're going to take, and now we're here. So I don't think it's a Danny is saying guys are untouchable and then they're not thing. I think that Danny swung a couple of big stick deals, and you can't turn that down.
Yep, absolutely. Let's go. Scoot Henderson. Yes, I would take Scoot. Joshua the Baller says, would y'all draft Scoot over Wemby?
All day, twice on Sunday.
And I've seen Scoot in person now, and I mean, it's just no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I mean, I don't know. Tyler P says Jazz should want Scoot for sure. Jazz have zero shot at either Scoot or Wemby, so I'm really not caring too much. I actually think that's not the case.
Yeah, that's not true, man.
They have enough draft assets. If they get a fourth first-round pick in this year's draft, they have 3 already. The Jazz have more than enough assets to acquire the first overall pick.